So seeing a lot of people are logging on here. If you're just joining us, you're not going to need much equipment for tonight. All you need is the floor. You don't even need a mat. You could do this practice on carpeting if you would like. And then in addition to the floor, you're also going to want something to sit upon. That could be the floor too. Could be a bench or a chair or even the side of your bed. So we're going to get going here in just a few moments. Wait for a few more people to log on. We're expecting over 200 people to join us this evening. All right. So let's begin. So thank you all for joining me here this evening, and really appreciate that we have a chance to come together, maybe not in person, maybe not in physical space, but we get to come together in time. So even though we're geographically quite disparate, I'm seeing people are logged on from India and from Israel. I think we had some people from Tajikistan log into the last class, in addition to many, many states here in the United States. And so you're so inclined to take a few moments and consider that literally around the world, we're all coming together right now at the same time with a shared intention of working with our bodies to help calm our minds. And the further invitation is to consider that the benefits of what we do here this evening, not just for yourself, but similarly radiating outward. What are we going to do here this evening? What's going to be a physical practice? And the intention is going to be to de-stress. And I think it goes without saying that these are very stressful, anxiety-producing times that we're living within. And so how we're going to work with de-stressing is coming into the body in a very specific way. And what we're going to do is work with the functions of the cranial nerves. Now, the cranial nerves, they all synapse in your brainstem. And based on the polyvagal theory, the idea is that what happens in your medulla oblongata and your pons is going to have an influence on your nervous system overall. So by doing very specific techniques here this evening, the idea is to calm your nervous system, not because you're trying to calm your nervous system, but as a physiological response to the particular techniques that we're going to work on here this evening. So some of these techniques may not be so familiar to you. So that's where we're going to start in sitting to develop a common terminology, a common language. So whatever you're sitting upon, whether it's the floor or a chair or a recliner, taking a moment to settle in, especially in these tense times, can often feel like you have to hold it together, at least for this moment in time. Letting the chair or the floor, whatever you're sitting upon, let it hold you. Now, with this sense of embodiment, groundedness, if you've closed your eyes, now opening your eyes and looking straight ahead toward your screen. Then with your nose still facing toward the screen, shifting your eyes to your right. Just your eyes, not your head. Then with your eyes oriented toward the right, and slowly, slowly tipping your head to the right. I'm going to hold here for a few counts. Bring your head back up and letting your gaze come back toward the center, toward your screen. Keep in mind on mirror image. So if it seems confusing, he's saying one thing and doing the other, that's because I am. So mirror image is you take your gaze to your left. I'll take my gaze the same direction, but it's to my right. And as tempting as it can be to turn your head with your nose still straight ahead, your gaze to the left, Now tipping your head to the left. We'll hold here for a few breaths. And this is a technique we'll explore a few times this evening, is to turn your eyes independent of your head. Bring your head back up, shifting your gaze back toward the middle. Good. And then coming up on your feet, whatever you're sitting upon, setting it aside for the time being. And then starting off with your feet close together. Like we worked on the past few classes, we'd use a different approach to breath synchronized with movement. Inhale, fill your back, broaden your shoulders. Now with the exhale, lift your arms up, way up. Inhale, arms down. Again, the inhale directed into your back. Exhale, ribs go down to the floor as your arms go up to the ceiling. Inhale, coming down. So why this peculiar breath? As you exhale and the ribs go down and your arms go up, it helps open your upper chest. Inhale, down. One more like that. Exhale, ribs go down, arms go up. That helps open the upper chest. Inhale. Good. Still warming up, stepping your feet wide apart. Turning both your feet a little bit out. And then movement matched to breath. With the out breath, bend your ankles, bend your hips, bend your knees. And then with the inhale coming up, called triple flexion. Exhale, ankles, hips, knees. Inhale, coming up. So as you keep making that movement, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. So when you bend your ankles, your shins come forward. And when you bend in your hips, you end up sticking your butt out a little bit. So next time you're in that triple flex position, pausing there, with your ankles bent, hips bent, knees bent, bring your hands into prayer position. And then keeping your bottom down low like it is, we're going to work a little bit with your feet. So to help tone your arches, healthy feet, lift both your heels up a couple inches. Then for the time being, keep your left heel up like it is, and then your right heel slowly descending over a count of 5. 5, 4, 3, butt still down. 2, 1. Tap the heel, lift the heel. Now your right heel lifted a couple inches. Now your left heel slowly descending. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touch, lift. Now both heels slowly descending. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Contact, pausing here. So you're still in triple flexion. And to help release neck stiffness, rather than lifting up from your shoulders and head, press your feet down to lift your torso up. Turning both feet to point back forward. Now taking your left foot, turning it in, your right foot turning it out, and matching movement to breath. Next time you feel an exhale in your body, bending your knee. Next time you feel an inhale, straightening your knee. Exhale. Inhale. Now there's a time and a place to do very deep breathing. But for now, just a little bit deeper. Exhale just a little bit fuller. Inhale into your back just a little bit deeper. Next time here, pausing here. Then keeping that right knee bent as you bring your hands into prayer position. Now again, to help create healthy arches, healthy feet, taking your right heel, lifting it up a couple inches. And then slowly over a count of 5, descending that heel down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, contact. Couple more breaths here. And very similar to how we practiced previously, as tempting as it can be to move your body originating from your head, feel your right foot. Watch what happens when you push that foot down, 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 down. You can't help but lift up. Turning both feet back toward the front. Now the second side, right foot turns in, left foot turns out. Like a surfer rides a wave, the surfer has to wait and time their actions with the wave, timing your movement to your breath. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. So we're still warming up. We're warming up the ankle. Through movement, we're warming up the hip. And through movement, we're warming up the knee. And maybe you've noticed that I'm taking my knee beyond my heel. That's intentional. Because anytime you walk upstairs, you walk downstairs, your knee goes way beyond your heel. So this is a very functional human movement. The next time your knee in the bent position, pausing there, bring your hands into prayer position. And to help tone the muscles that support healthy arches, lifting now your left heel up just a couple inches. And then slowly over a count of 5, descending that heel down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, contact. We'll pause here for a few breaths. And thinking of nothing besides pushing that left foot down, watch what happens. Down, 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 creates a lightness, a lift. Turning both feet back to the front, still facing the same direction, stepping your feet together. Letting your arms hang. If you feel comfortable doing so, letting your eyes close. Now, whatever the source of stress may be, animals tend to tuck their tails when they're stressed out. So do humans, human animals. So explore what it might feel like to relax your tailbone. And I know some people have heard an instruction, tuck your tail. Explore what it feels like to lift your pelvic floor, but without tucking your tail. It's possible to separate those two. And some people report almost immediately a releasing, a letting go in their neck. Now, to further that, imagine your tailbone was hanging out of your skull, lengthening your neck, your upper back, and your lower back in the process. Stepping your feet wide apart. Bring your hands to your hips. Deeper breathing. Letting each exhale take your lower ribs, knitting them to your belly. Then directing the inhale into your back to broaden your shoulders. Maybe you're already feeling how your rib cage moves with your breath. That's going to be especially helpful if you tend to get stiff and maybe some achiness between your shoulder blades. Now to work more directly with the cranial nerves and their nuclei, take your left foot in, your right foot out. With the next out breath, bending your knee. Pausing here for a moment. So inviting awareness now to your pelvic bowl. And tip your pelvic bowl and let the rest of your body follow, rest of your torso follow. Bring your right elbow to your knee, left hand on your hip. And for the time being, your whole torso facing straight ahead toward the screen. Now holding here, I'm going to come up so I can talk to you a little bit easier. Keeping your nose pointed straight ahead, taking your gaze down to the floor, just your gaze. Couple more breaths here. Letting your gaze return back to the center, back to the screen. Now to add another layer to it, taking your left arm up toward the ceiling, and still with your gaze straight ahead, still with your nose straight ahead, excuse me, turn your gaze to the floor, just your gaze. Now let your head follow your gaze so that you turn toward the floor. A few breaths here. Inhale up, turning back toward the center. Second side, right foot turns in, left foot turns out. Movement synced with breath. Exhale. It's really common to initiate movement from up here. It's a common cause of having a stiff neck. So invite awareness down low, deep into your pelvic bowl. Tip your pelvic bowl. Let the rest of your torso come along for the ride. Elbow to knee. Hand on your hip. And your nose straight ahead toward your screen. So still holding there. Nose still straight ahead. Let your gaze tip to the floor. Good. Working with the cranial nerves that help control eye movements. Nose still straight ahead as you bring your gaze back toward your monitor, back toward your screen. Now taking your right arm up toward the ceiling. Nose still straight ahead toward the screen. Tipping your gaze, only your gaze toward the floor. We'll pause there for a bit. Now let your nose follow your gaze, tipping toward the floor. So I know in a lot of yoga classes, in this kind of position, you turn to look up. But what we're doing here is very intentional to help tease apart the fascia adhesions that tend to pull the shoulders forward. We'll take a few more breaths here, this variation of side angle. Letting your gaze and your head come back to midline. Exhale, stale air out. Ride the inhale up. Turning back to your screen, still facing your screen, stepping your feet together. Returning to the arm movement. Inhale to open your upper back. Exhale, arms up. Arms down with the inhale. Now we're going to add a layer to that. Exhale, arms up, moving toward a partial sun salutation. Inhale, folding forward. As you fold forward, letting your head hang, knees can bend as much as you'd like. And to make it easier to see, I'm going to turn sideways. So you can probably see my knees are quite a bit bent. And that facilitates letting the weight of your head hang to the floor. Why would we do that? Why would we care? Because the weight of your head now naturally decompresses your neck. So cultivating that sense that your neck is elongating, with the next out breath, stretch the crown of your head forward. And this right here is often called gorilla pose. The idea is to generate most of the movement between your shoulder blades and little, if any, of the movement in your neck. Now with the next inhale, let your head hang again. Exhale, roll all the way up. All the way up, your chin too. Inhale, arms down. Now same thing a little bit faster. Exhale, arms up. Inhale, folding forward. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, folding. Exhale all the way up. Inhale, arms down. So one more like that. So we've reversed the breathing. Exhale, arms up to help open your upper chest. Inhale forward. We've reversed the breathing to help free the upper back. Exhale, crown of the head forward. Reverse the breathing to help open upper back. Thoracic extension. Inhale, breathing into your back to further open your upper back. Exhale all the way up as your ribs go down and your chin goes up. That opens your throat. Inhale, arms down. So you still facing toward your screen. I'm going to face toward you again. Exhale, arms up. This time keeping your arms lifted. So taking your right hand a little bit higher up. Go ahead, let your shoulder blade come up a little bit. Right arm stays this high up. Now taking your left arm and hand a little bit higher up. Perfectly okay for your shoulder blades to lift a little bit. Inhale into your back. Exhale, little side bend to your right. Inhale up. Exhale, side bend left. You get most of the benefit if the side bend happens in your upper back. Inhale up. Each side again. Exhale to the right. Little, if any, bend in your lower back. Inhale up. Exhale to your left. Inhale up. We're going to pause here for a bit. Exhale, arms down. Resting your mind. Letting go of the cues, instructions. We'll take a few moments quietly. If you've closed your eyes, now opening your eyes. Restarting the deeper breathing. So remember our cues with the out breath. Taking your lower ribs and connecting them to your belly. And paradoxically, if you want to open your chest, inhale into your back. Inhale, filling your back. Exhale, knitting your ribs. Keeping that deeper breathing as you step your feet apart. We're going to work a little bit more with the functions of the cranial nerves. Turning your left foot in and your right foot out. Exhale, bending. Pausing here. Next out breath, tipping your hips, letting your spine, neck, and head come along for the ride. Elbow on your knee, hand on your hip, and then taking that left arm up toward the ceiling. So if your left arm stretching up toward the ceiling, your nose still straight ahead, then taking your eyes only, to look up at your hand. Then letting your head follow your gaze. I'll come up so I can talk to you all a little bit more. So gaze and nose facing toward the uplifted hand. If you want a little bit more challenge, lift through that upper arm so much that you're scarcely leaning on your right elbow. Same breathing. Good. Now we've been here for a while, so old habits tend to reveal themselves. A lot of people come up out of this pose right now, and they do it from their head and neck. So invite awareness to your right foot. And the moment the next inhale originates, press that right foot down and let that be what lifts you up. Returning back toward the middle, still facing toward your monitor, and stepping your feet together, knowing that we've done one side and not yet the other side. In times of stress, we tend to end up in our head, a bit removed from the body. So taking a moment here to feel your body. Maybe the two sides feel the same. Maybe the two sides feel different. What you feel doesn't really matter in terms of balance or asymmetry, but it's the act of or the process of the question, what do I feel, that brings you back to your body. In addition to working with the functions of cranial nerves, that embodiment is one of the best remedies for stressful times. So we add a little bit of intentional conscious asymmetry to help guide, direct awareness back to the body. But we should do the second side. So to initiate that, step your feet wide apart. Take your right foot in about a third of the way. Turn your left foot open. So this time I'll let you do the pose. I won't be demonstrating. With the exhale, bending your left knee. Once you feel that your knee's in the bent position, then invite awareness to your pelvis. And tip your hips and let your whole spine, neck, and head come along for the ride. You end up with your left elbow on your knee, right hand on your hip. For the time being, your nose, chest, and belly facing straight ahead toward your monitor. Taking then your right arm up toward the ceiling. Right arm up toward the ceiling, still your gaze straight ahead, your nose straight ahead. As you turn your gaze to the floor, just your gaze, not your head. Now turning your gaze back toward the middle, added a little extra variety on this side. Now turning your gaze up toward the ceiling, just your gaze, not just yet your head. Now let your nose and your head follow your gaze. Get a chance to check out that hand up there. Exhale, knitting your ribs. Inhale, opening your back. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, feeling your left foot on the floor. With the next inhale, press that foot down to lift up. Turning back to your screen, still facing your screen, stepping your feet together. Some arm variations. Exhale up. Probably thinking we've done this. What's variety about this? Inhale down. Exhale up, keeping your arms up. So a little bit of a twist on what we did before. Taking your left hand, reaching it up. Stays that high lifted. Taking your right hand just as high up, maybe a little bit higher. Now to help open up your side ribs. Inhale, breathing into your left side ribs as you side bend right. Exhale up. Inhale into your right side ribs. Exhale up. One more each side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Couple of breaths here. Now with the exhale, letting go of the breathing, the techniques, we'll take a moment here quietly to rest your mind. Gently restarting the deeper breathing. Partial sun salutation. Exhale, arms up, chin up too. Inhale, folding forward. Exhale, gorilla, crown of your head forward. Now a little bit different, adding a layer to it. With the next inhale, stepping your feet back, way back. Now I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what I'm talking about. So if dog pose is unfamiliar, a couple points here for this evening. Lift your heels, bend your knees, and that allows you to take your hips back, 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 which takes pressure off your wrists and hands. Then once your hips are way back, then to release your neck, let the weight of your head drop. Let your head hang, even though I'm not demonstrating that. Into that space between your shoulder blades, a big, deep inhale. Exhale, stepping your feet forward to gorilla. Inhale, fold. Exhale all the way up. Inhale, arms down. So I'm going to do the same thing again a little bit faster. Exhale, ribs down. At the same time, arms up, chin up. Inhale, folding. Exhale, thoracic extension, gorilla. Inhale, dog pose. So if you notice my hands are planted, they don't move. So then when I move my hips back, that stretches out my shoulders and my spine. And then your neck also enjoys decompression when you let the weight of your head hang to the floor. Inhale, broadening your back. Exhale, stepping forward, ending up in gorilla with this out breath. Inhale, folding. Exhale all the way up. Inhale, arms down. Good. So I'm going to join you in facing that same direction. And all of us taking your feet wide apart. Turn your left foot in and your right foot out. And this time a little bit different. Turning your torso to your right, toward that side wall. And now that your torso is facing toward that side wall, bending your front knee, which is your right knee. Reaching your arms then straight forward toward that side wall. Big, deep inhale. Exhale as your ribs go down. Take your chin and your arms up. We'll take a few breaths here. So the most potential for opening your upper chest, releasing tension in the throat, paradoxically, is when you exhale to recharge the lift in your hands to help stretch out a tight pectoralis minor muscle. Keeping your arms overhead, inhale, coming up. Exhale, turning back toward your screen. And with the next exhale, releasing your arms. And we'll pause here for a bit. Second side, right foot turns in, left foot turns out. And sometimes I like to turn my back foot a little bit more in, but we're keeping the heel on the floor for the time being. Turning your whole body now toward that left wall. Taking your front knee, your left knee, bending it toward that side wall. And a little bit different on this side, bring your hands into prayer position. So remember how we use the breath. Exhale, knits your ribs. Inhale, opens your back. So that helps to align your torso in a very beneficial way. Then taking your arms forward. Inhale, broadening your kidneys. Exhale, arms up, let your gaze track along with. We'll hold here for a few breaths. So remember, it's perfectly okay for your shoulder blades to lift up a little bit. As long as you're not feeling a pinch in your neck, let your shoulder blades rise up a little bit more in the interest of freeing your upper chest. Arms still overhead. Inhale, straightening your front knee. Arms still overhead as you turn back toward your screen. Arms still overhead as you step your feet together. Big deep inhale here. Exhale, arms down. Letting go of the cues, the techniques. We'll take a moment here to not do yoga. Letting your mind be just as it is. I'm going to turn sideways again so you can see. We're going to end up transitioning to the floor. Exhale, both arms up. Inhale, folding. Exhale, gorilla. Inhale, stepping back. And coming forward to a plank. In time with practice, your heels, hips, shoulders, and your neck and head are all lined up. Then slowly, slowly lowering yourself down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Contact. Stretching your toes back. And then bring your hands forward in front of you, such that your elbows are just a little bit bent. And your elbows are a little bit up off the floor. Now with the next exhale, press your hands down to lift your head, to lift your chest. Now typically what happens here is people end up pushing into their hands. That compresses the lower back. So pulling your hands toward you to help elongate your lower back. And to further elongate your lower back, stretch back through your toes as you reach forward to the crown of your head. So still with your head lifted, still with your chest lifted, we're going to come back to working with functions of the cranial nerves. So with your nose still facing straight forward like it is, take your gaze and your gaze only to the right. We'll pause there for a few breaths. Gaze, gaze only turning. Now let your head follow your gaze, so you end up turning your head to the right. Couple of breaths here. Coming back to the middle. We've been here quite a while, so recharging, pulling your hands toward your belly, stretching your toes back behind you, and at the same time lengthening your neck, extending forward to the crown of your head. With your nose still forward, now take your gaze only to the left. Now let your head follow your gaze. We'll pause here for a few breaths. Some of my neuroscientist friends are probably internally considering what are the various cranial nerves involved here. Quite a few, aren't there? Full deep inhale. Exhale, coming back toward the middle. Couple last breaths here. Exhale, coming down. Bring your hands right next to your rib cage. Pushing up to your hands and knees. Placing your hands consciously grounded on your mat. Turning your toes under. Lifting your hips. And then moving your hips away from your hands to help lengthen your lower back. Open your armpits. Now to help more fully release your upper back and your neck, let the weight of your head hang to the floor. Full deep inhale here to broaden your back. And exhale, coming down. Good. Then setting up facing toward your screen. Starting off with your knees bent and your feet on the floor, hooking your elbows across your knees. And taking your sitting bones, pressing them down to the floor, and using that rooting dynamic to lift up through the crown of your head. Good. And taking your left foot forward, bring your right foot up and over. Left arm comes across. Right hand comes behind. Turning to your right. Same breathing technique. Each out breath draws your lower ribs down to your belly. Each in breath to open and broaden your back. Full deep inhale here. And exhale, turning back to the starting point. And now then the second side. So it's right foot comes forward. Left foot comes up and over. Right arm comes across. Left hand behind. Turning to your left. Same steady breathing. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And turning back toward the front. Still facing toward the front. I'll turn so you can see. So knees can be a bit bent here. That can facilitate sitting up a little bit more. Exhale, both arms up. Inhale, folding forward. Perfectly okay to round your spine. Bring your hands to your shins. Maybe they come forward toward your ankles. Maybe even toward your feet. So in the interest of releasing your neck, taking your gaze down to the floor, looking right between your knees at the floor. This position right here is like a case study for opening your back. So using the breathing to help facilitate that process. With the inhale, feeling how your lower back broadens. Probably most importantly, with the inhale, feel how your kidneys or your lower ribs broaden. With the inhale, how your upper back, your shoulders broaden. And even up into your neck and the base of your skull. With the inhale, they broaden. So explore the possibility of keeping that openness in the back of your body. As you slowly roll up, starting with your lower back, then the junction of lower back and ribs, upper back, and finally your neck and your head. Good. Now we're going to transition to sitting. So whatever you'd like to sit upon, could be the floor, or a chair, or a stool. Maybe you're fortunate enough a cat will jump into your lap, or a dog, or rub up against your thigh. So we continue our work with the various functions of the cranial nerves. You probably noticed we work quite a bit with putting your head in various positions. That's about your inner ear. Then we move the gaze quite a bit. That's quite a number of cranial nuclei. And then the technique in the breathing about the vagus nerve. So old school yoga technique, the lion pose. Take your tongue way out and see if you can touch your tongue to your chin. Then at the same time, take your gaze to the tip of your nose. A few more breaths here. And relaxing the lion pose. Now a variation of the lion pose. Start by your tongue toward your chin again. And now take your gaze to the third eye. A few more breaths here. And releasing the lion pose. All the way back full circle how we began. Gaze straight ahead, nose straight ahead. Then keep your nose straight ahead as you take your gaze to your right. Keeping your gaze to the right, let your head tip to the right. Couple breaths here. Coming up. Nose and gaze back forward. Nose straight ahead. Now taking your gaze to your left. Keeping your gaze to the left, let your head tip also to the left. So maybe you feel a little bit of a stretch. That's actually not the point here. The point is to work with cranial nerve function, working the level of your brainstem to influence your nervous system. Coming back up. Letting go of any of the techniques. No need to breathe in any special particular way. All right. That takes the last few minutes here for guided relaxation. You could remain seated if you'd like, or if you'd rather, you can recline. You could do that on the floor, or a sofa, or a bed, wherever you're practicing right now. Key point is to be comfortable. So wherever you've ended up, whether it's on your bed or the sofa or the floor, or even a recliner, if you feel comfortable doing so, closing your eyes. Now, we've talked a bit this evening about strategies of working with your body to work at the level of your nervous system to help calm your mind. We know that certain parts of the body are disproportionately wired to your brain. For example, your hands. The hands are so rich with nerve endings. Explore what it feels like to invite awareness to your left hand and invite your left hand to relax. Palm of your hand, fingers, and the back of your hand. Now inviting awareness to your right hand, relaxing your palm, your fingers, and the back of your hand. So both in your sensory cortices and your motor cortices. So much of the brain is mapped to your hands. Relaxing your hands. Now there are almost as many nerve endings in your feet. Inviting awareness to your left foot. Relaxing the sole of your foot. Your toes. The top of your left foot. All the way up into your shin. As weird as that may sound, explore what it feels like to relax your left shin. Because who'd have thunk it, your shins are directly connected to your neck. And now inviting awareness to your right foot. Start by relaxing the sole of your foot. Including your heel. Relaxing your toes. And the top of your right foot. Let that releasing of the top of your foot continue to include relaxing your shin. When shins are tight, they pull on the neck. And many people, if not most people, when they're stressed, when they're tense, they lift their toes up, which puts a lot of stress into the neck. Relaxing your feet, shins included. Relaxing your hands. This invitation to relax will take the next minute and a half quietly to explore what it feels like as you relax your body, what that may feel like in your mind. All right. If you've closed your eyes, now opening your eyes. Then as you feel ready, coming up to sitting. Once you're up and sitting, to review, probably some of these techniques are very familiar, but maybe some are a little bit different. So our theme this evening, what I sometimes call neural hacks, ways to work with the nervous system to help calm the nervous system in the interest of calming the mind. So it's my sincere hope that the benefits of working with the brain, structure of the body, and the heart ripples outward, benefiting beings near and far. So beings near and far, that includes us. Some people watching this video are a few miles away. Some people watching this video are thousands of miles away. We're all joined together at this particular time. And for people who will be watching this video, it'll be available for you to watch for the next week. Maybe you also can feel this dynamic, this vibration of coming together. So thank you for joining me. If you're looking for a little bit more of a workout, next month I'm going to roll out a program that takes some of these same ideas in a little bit more vigorous way. My intention here for the foreseeable future is to keep the classes pretty mellow and as accessible as possible, so that people who are really experienced or people who are a little bit newer, we can all come together at the same time and work toward de-stressing and unwinding. If you're not currently a subscriber to the YouTube channel, please consider doing so. And I'm going to take a couple moments here for any questions that may have arisen. My wife is our producer, and there's a very cute cat in her lap. I wish you could see it, but it's kind of distracting, actually. I'm not seeing any questions. All right. What was that? I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think Ruthie was in the window, so that was probably it. It's a cameo appearance with Ruthie at best. All right. Thank you all. Tomorrow morning, maybe I'll see you, or you'll see me. Bye-bye.